So, outside of the top 5 decks here, what is going on with the former / ladder of Tier 1? Don't beg the 30% of you guys have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can go further up the ladder here. The latter part of Tier 1 I want to talk about here is Flunderies. Now, Flunder still looks like it is a Tier 1 contender, and before you're like, whoa, what do you mean, Robbie? Like, literally last month, you said that the deck was Tier 1. What happened? Let me tell you what happened here. Zombie World happened. Every Despia deck in the room entered the call at the same time. And I think that's one big thing to like understand here at the end of this is the fact that that deck just has free access to Zombie World is what is hurting you from having the chance to do well. And I'm still going to say what I've said this entire time. I do honestly think that in terms of what you can still do in the meta with Flunder still is able to be done. There's nothing about that, actually. There's no real changes whatsoever. You can still build the same boards, and you can still do well. All right, nothing has changed with that. It's just you better be ready to compete against some of your most annoying matchups in the room, aka Branded, because if not, you're going to have a very, very bad time. All right. Like Flunder just, it's still a budget option. It's still fantastic. But what you have to play through right now is just so hard. All right. So with that being said, yeah, the deck is all right. I really do wish you the best of luck though right now, because you better hope that something happens to Branded in some sort of capacity, or Flunder is just going to continue to get checked off of that list very, very hard, and it's really sad, actually. Next up here is Eldritch. Now, in the previous video, I did mention that Branded Eldritch is doing all right. All right, like, it's probably become the most represented Eldritch list at the moment, because you can still take advantage of playing Skill Drain in that deck. And really, that's pretty good. Anytime that we can see the consistent results of Eldritch doing what it does. And then, of course, you bump on down here, you have Cyber's Eldritch, which I mentioned in combination with Based, because both decks kind of want to do the same thing. But at the end of the day, you enter into the realm of what is Control Eldritch. Ah, yes. The fragrance of set 5, the look of disappointment on your opponent's face as they can't do anything against you, and they're just like, huh, I hate it here, duelist, and then you're like, proceed. It's definitely a struggle bus out here in order to get this to go, but once again, the Eldritch package in and itself is competing with the metagame. It is able to keep up in terms of things, and once again, you can thank the other good cards for carrying it. I honestly think that's probably the more interesting thing as of late here, is the inclusion of said good cards here is what really makes this deck a whole lot better. But once again, diversity. You get multiple option trees on what you want to play. It just so happens that 2 of the other variants little bit better than the rest at this point in time. So, I don't know. I'm still a big fan of set 5. You know, Aluber and friends kind of sometimes have a problem with set 5. And honestly, probably in terms of your roguish picks here. It's probably one of the best option trees that you'll have to stand a chance against the big meanie Aluber and friends. So keep that in mind, all right? Eldritch is definitely up there. Just depends what you want to play with your Eldritch. Next up here is going to be Brigade. Now, in the previous video, I did not mention the Brigade branded list, and I probably should have done that, because I would very much lump this in there with this. This deck, as of this point in time, I know of 2 variants. Well, because, yeah, it's just the tri-variant, which is, like, pure, and then you play branded with it. And then I've seen a 12th place finish and a 1st place out of Houston that were both playing the branded package with tri, and then I believe, what was it, the version that topped Pagoda? Was it pure? I think it was pure Brigade with no branded stuff. So with that being said, you're able to keep up and do things. But once again, this is another textbook case of, ooh, I can put Branded in my deck and I can work. All right, but don't be discouraged when I say that, because you can still do Brigade things. All right, it's just you have to understand that including another engine in the deck, this deck did actually see a little bit of play in the OCG. It was actually kind of interesting to watch this deck kind of unload and do its thing. But to what point and what ends, it's still got to struggle with things. But once again, when Branded Fusion can kind of round out more of your horrific matchups, yeah, I don't know. I think the deck is very far from dead, but I think that this particular build, like, at least pure try, is definitely more in the roguish tier 2 category than in tier 1. But you can really just blame the Branded variant for it getting mentioned here at this point in time, because, you know, if it works out and it can go XO to regional and crush down on that competition and leave people going, where'd that come from? You know, and they're just like flabbergasted. Then it's done its job as a rogue buster. All right, so very, very important to understand that Brigade's still doing well here. Next up is Phantom Knights. Now, you're probably like, where's Dragon Link? We'll talk about that here in a second. It's Phantom Knights. I will give Phantom Knights one thing that they have going for them right now. Ain't nothing changed about them. Phantom Knights are still in the exact same boat that they were in during the last... the release of Adventure, actually. If you're a Phantom Knight player, congratulations. You're living in a time capsule. You've had to, what, adjust a couple side deck cards? Your matchups haven't gotten better. The top end of the format keeps crushing down on you, and you're still kind of experiencing the same thing that everybody else is at this point in time. You gotta adapt. And when I say adapt, you better hope that more and more things don't happen to your deck, because if they do, you're gonna have a bad time. Now, is this deck consistently topping regionals? No. The only reason why this deck still gets its former mention here before getting pushed down into, you know, tier 2 land is the fact that it still has the adventure package. It is still one of the better adventure decks in the game, and it still does some very unfavorable things for a lot of people. And I know a lot of people hate the adventure package, but you got more problems to deal with right now. So this is just a little fact check here. Just wanted to say, yeah, Phantom Knights, they're still here. They're still grinding against the format, and there's still a deck that you got to be aware of. But once again, they still lose to themselves. They are Brick Central 99% of the time, unfortunately. Yay. To be a Phantom Knight player and to draw good for one event means you're going to go X4 the next event at locals, and you're going to just be like, yep, that's my deck. And there's nothing that you can really do about it. Well, that brings us to the last deck I got to mention for this video, Dragon Link. Dragon Link. What is that deck? You know, I haven't seen any Dragon Link. We've seen one or two. What happened? Let me tell you what happened. Branded came into the format. The top end of the format right now is crushing down so bad on Dragon Link that the deck is struggling. Now, the deck can still top 16 a regional, let's be honest there. But for this deck that was on the former half of Tier 1 for a very long time, starting to disappear, it's getting outclassed by just the pure advantage machine that is Despia. And then you have Prank Kids showing up on the side burner here, just continuing to whittle it off. And like I said, when the top half of your format is just doing everything that you want to do way more consistently, way less costly, then yeah, that's what's going to continue to happen. I really wish that I could be a little bit more optimistic about this and be like, yay! But Dragon Link is starting to disappear. And is the deck ready to fall down to Tier 2? It might be. It's actually really sad, especially as soon as Fallen of Albaz gets its Contact Dragon Fusion, the deck is just going to hurt even more. Being able to set a Fallen of Albaz and Contact out with an opponent's entire field does not sound very fun for a Dragon Link player. So bad news, Dragon Link. You guys are starting to disappear from the format very, very quickly, and there's not really much you can do about that because, well, that's just the format. So what do you guys think about this list? Please, if you comment about 200%, make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later on the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.